Hello, everybody. Let's break down what happened. There was a lot of excitement, a lot of pent up demand, and as usual, maybe it was just another buy the rumor, sell the news kick in the teeth. So, the Hong Kong ETF did launch, but there's lots of mixed messaging out there. So, we'll break all that down as to exactly what happened and what else is going on in the whole Bitcoin space. Is Hong Kong a success or failure? We'll look at adoption and we'll talk about Saylor. We'll talk about the bleed out of grayscale. We'll talk about what else? Outflows, money flow, a whole bunch of on-chain charts, and so much more. Oh, a little bit about miners too, and the pain that they are going to be feeling very soon as well. Shout out to Patreon. We'll make this one quick this morning because it's Octa Day as well. Jacob Collins, hi from Australia, happy Patreon member. Thank you so much for being here. So first of all, Bitcoin Only Playlist will be here afterwards, and let's talk about this. There was a lot of commotion and celebration and everything else. Bitcoin Archive just in. Bitcoin ETF listing ceremony in Hong Kong. First China ban, now taking over global markets. Well, not exactly. Hey, Mike, good to see you, buddy. So let's check this out. This is Eric Balchunas. He is an ETF expert at Bloomberg, I think. But he says China AMC is pretty confident that Hong Kong can outdo the US in Bitcoin ETF flows and volume on day one, which starts in a few hours. Also says other regions like Singapore, Middle East could seek out the ETFs, although confirmed off limits for China. But mainland China, those that have the money, they have the rails, and they can do it too. But what exactly happened? What exactly went on? So is this deception or delusion? Hong Kong spot ETFs are going live tomorrow. And one issuer, again, that's AMC, believes, and not the AMC theater company, by the way, it's AMC ETF, AMC fund in Hong Kong. They believe they'll get more than 125 million in the first day from Zhu Hong Kong. And everybody got excited about that because that's a big buy, and that'll offset some of the dumpage by grayscale here in the US. But what happened? So Vivek was not happy. He said, I was promised 300 million on volume first day on Bitcoin ETFs. I need a refund. Hey, Linda. So yeah, that didn't happen. Volume was very thin. But there's some strange stuff happening behind the scenes too. Let's break it down. First of all, despite low volumes, this is just in from Radar. The ETF China AMC took in 121 million in asset on day one of trading. Not 125, but 121. And that is more than all the US Bitcoin ETFs combined in the last 6 trading days. A couple of things I pick up from this. Number one, the volume was low, which means this 121 million is very close to the 125 million that they promised, which means it was probably preceded. They knew that, and it was coming in there. In addition, it seems like these Hong Kong ETFs want to pull in money from the rest of the world too, and they're very clearly trying to compete with the US. But the market is, of course, much smaller, unless, of course, the rails are easy for mainland China, which they are not. So, all in all, yes, volumes were wrong, but the money is in there. Was it preceded over months, having no effect on the market? Possibly. Another theory that some people have is Mr. 100 preceded it. It didn't. That is not, the money did not come from there. But then again, let me see. 121 million it's approximately 2,000 Bitcoin, which is interesting because Mr. 100 moved 1,000 out a few days ago. So now, maybe, I don't know. All these things are going around in my head. I don't know where the breadcrumbs lead us, but some weird stuff going on. And Eric Balchunas, again, back here, confirms, yeah, the Hong Kong ETF volume breakdown all traded 12.4 million, a lot for that market, equivalent of 1.6 billion in the US. But China AMC reporting 141 million in assets, 121 million of that was Bitcoin and 20 million in ETH. So ETH grabbed 14%. As usual, we did expect ETH to be very low and Bitcoin to be more popular, and that turned out to be true. But again, maybe because they have in-kind capabilities, maybe people were seeding the Bitcoin indirectly. We'll see. That's why it didn't appear in volume. And again, 120 million is about 1,000 Bitcoin, which is substantial. Let's check the Bitcoin price. Right now, we're doing a double bottom on the Bitcoin price. As usual, buy the rumor, sell the news. We double bottom at 60,500 twice already in the last couple of hours. Let's see if that breaks down. We do know that the major bottom is about 59.5, and that's the short-term holder cost basis. And in bull markets, we don't break that, historically speaking, but you never know what could happen. Now, so the Hong Kong ETFs were a little bit of a nothing burger, but they could grow over time. And again, the more people grabbing this stuff, the better, the harder it makes. But also, in the news, with recent buys, MicroStrategy just snagged another 122 more Bitcoin. Hong Kong ETFs 1,000. That's 1,122. And now Saylor owns 214,400. By the way, Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy did sell off yesterday because the FASB accounting rules were not in place for this quarter's earnings, so a lot of people were disappointed. Again, buy the rumor, sell the news. Disappointment happens when things aren't as big as people expected them to be. Let's look at some charts as to what's going on in the marketplace right now. So we did have a historic 7 green candles. 7 green monthly candles in a row. This is kind of where we've come from on the monthly chart basis. And I think you can pick up a lot from this. Remember, Bitcoin, I have to remind people, Bitcoin since, what was that, November, a year and a bit ago, nearly a year and a half ago, went from 15,500 to 61,000. It 4x'd in less than a year and a half. And people are still very disappointed in the performance. Again, I don't get it. But anyway, we're here. That's how it works. Now, when you look at these monthly candles, the thing that jumps out at me right away is not just the sell signal that I missed at the beginning of the month, but the actual candle is identical to the March candle. So April basically erased March. You know, we were hoping for a little bit of a positive April. That didn't happen. I thought post-halving supply crunch would hit. That did not happen. I am not right all the time. Nobody is. Nobody has a crystal ball. And we also had some headwinds, some wars, some Fed rattling, some lack of interest rate cuts. All that type of stuff has happened as well. And of course, Hong Kong ETF was a big part of it, and that was a nothing burger, apparently. We're not sure. So we are kind of back to square one where we were back in March. And actually the prices here was here a week ago or so as well. And that's just how Bitcoin works. It wrecks your head, but long term, things are still looking positive. But there's other bad news as well we have to share. First of all, here, global crypto funds just recorded 3 consecutive weeks of outflows for the first time ever. We've never had that before. And will this continue, or will it change? Will it go back up? My math tells me, and my study of history tells me, it will change, it will revert and go back up, because we are living in the digital era. People want digital assets. And the last 3 weeks, we saw $767 million leave digital assets. That's nearly $1 billion. And yes, that does affect the price. Bid, demand, money needs to come in to inflate these things. When it exits the building, prices go down. Will it come back? Yes. Do we know when? No. But we'll watch carefully. Other crazy news too. We saw a huge spike in Bitcoin miner revenue, and all of a sudden, literally in 10 days, it crashed back to the 2023 bottom. Now, what does this mean? Well, this is ugly. So we have 2 options here. Basically, the rewards are a lot less. The fees are a lot lower. The miners need one of 2 things to happen. Either 1, they turn off their rigs, or 2, they wait for a rise in Bitcoin price. There's no sign of them unplugging their rigs right now. However, that being said, Bitcoin just broke through 60,500 as I'm speaking. Not good. No double bottom right now. The selling continues because rumor has it Grayscale just dumped another 4,000 Bitcoin onto the market. That thing is bleeding out like we have never, ever seen before. It is stunning. The continual bleed. We'll get to the chart on that in a minute. But this is not good for the miners too. And as I always said, only the fittest will survive. And I'm sorry if this is a bit of a harsh truth video today, but these are the facts. And another proof point from Blockware of where the miner revenue is: transaction fees back down. Boom. We had that rune spike, and that was so short-lived it wasn't even funny. I think it lasted 5 days, and then boom, gone. But that's how it is. Be careful, everybody out there. There's lots of fads in crypto. Don't jump on fads. Jump on things that have staying power and a Lindy effect. Now, other breaking news too. There's a lot of, chain activity is down. New addresses on the Bitcoin network are down, 7-day moving average. But there is that slight bump off of 300,000 as we speak. But again, we need that to return because of Metcalfe's law. When the price is not there, people are not there. People check out. You see that too in things like YouTube views and stuff. But again, it's most important to be in the market when things are down, because that's when you snack. Other interesting chart here from Wu Blockchain. He spoke about Bitcoin adoption. Now, per this chart, according to him, there are 426 million Bitcoin holders today. I don't think so. That it goes against the numbers that I published yesterday in my video. I reckon there's more like about 50 to 60 million, not 426 million. But either way, you can take these charts and use them as a relative thing. He believes we could get to 500 million by October of this year, and that would also help stoke the price. Oh, Bitcoin got back above 60,500. Maybe we do have that double bottom at 60,500. Sometimes it breaches it just to reach in and grab some of those leverage longs. Let's talk about those leverage longs as well. Now, here you can see they did clear it down to 60,500 and just cleared it again down to 60,400 approximately. We'll see where it goes from here, but these games continue. And these market makers know what they're doing. They are reaching into your pocket. And if you are leveraged long, they know where you are leveraged. They know exactly at which level you get liquidated. And they come grab it. And guess what? They just grabbed how much in the last 24 hours? $283.8 million worth. Boom. Of those, 226 million were leveraged longs. Only 58 million short. And there was some surprises too, because the ETH folks believed there would be a big pump for Ethereum because of the Hong Kong ETFs. That didn't happen, and a lot of ETH leverage longs got whacked as well. So I only play leverage on one thing, and that's Solana. And remember, if you ever do play leverage, have a huge safety cushion. We're talking 30% at least. All right? So let's look at the ETF update, everybody, and thank you all for coming here. I know it's no fun to be here on days like today, but considering what we went through in the bear market, it's not a bad day at all. Remember, Bitcoin has 4x'd since November 2022. Bonkers. Let's look at day 75 for these ETFs. There's a couple of bad things to show here, but a couple of good things as well. First of all, we have now day 4 of BlackRock having zero Bitcoin flow. I covered it on Sunday in the Q&A. A great question as to how the market makers actually play this game. So dig that up. It's all timestamped if you are interested. It's quite a complex description of exactly how they play, but that's how they make the money as well. Grayscale had a low dump day, 24.7 million, but ARK was higher, 31.3 million. And BITB positive in there, and Fidelity down slightly. So all in all, minus 50 million, not good. The bleed continues. And as we discovered, there's so much uncertainty post-halving, people don't know what's going to happen. People are worried about the miners. People are worried about, it was at the top of the market, etc. So this is all reflecting that right now as well. The macro update, this is more of a positive sign. You see the Grayscale bleed went up, which was not too bad, but everything else is just completely petered out and flatlined. It's like one of those EKG monitors goes beep. Very weird. Will the money return? Let's check. Mathematically, historically, if this holds true, it will. We haven't had 3 weeks of outflows before. But again, who knows? Who can predict the future? The money flow, purple line trend is down and we are below trend. Again, that's reflected in the beep of the EKG monitor being dead. And the amount of blue bars under the zero line, also negative still. And the total cumulative money flow is down. Not good at all. Retail investors have left the building as well. And 33 billion still into the 9 new ETFs, but it has slowed completely. They still have 535,000 Bitcoin. And Grayscale Drainage, this is the only bright spot I found. They had the third least worst day ever, but I fear today could be bad again. So we'll see. Technically, we could hit that 59,500 level. It would not surprise me if we hit that in the next 24 hours. Next, final slide. Today, we had 808 Bitcoin be added to the system yesterday. But considering Saylor bought 122 and the Hong Kong ETFs bought 1,000, not bad. But I think that 1,000 Bitcoin was seeded a long time ago too. So sorry for the grief tidings today, everybody. Not every day is a great day, but hang tough. We're getting to almost my DCA level as well to snag a little more Bitcoin. So hang in there, everybody. Big thank you to the moderators in the chat too, and Solar Bitcoin, and Mike, and K8, and who else is out there? American Beijinger is here. We got people in Asia. American Beijinger, go pump that Hong Kong ETF. Thanks, everybody. Catch you all in about 3 or 4 hours. Bye-bye.